He was born with secrets buried in his bloodline, episode 2. After the naming ceremony, things seemed calm, but Adaeze couldn't shake off the feeling that someone was watching her. At night, she would hear footsteps in the corridor, even though everyone was asleep. Sometimes Chiziterem would start crying at 2 a.m., always at the same time. One night, while breastfeeding him, she noticed a strange mark on his back, a small circle, almost like a burn, glowing faintly red. "Ebuka, come and see." Ebuka rushed over. He stared at the mark and trembled. "That's the family mark," he said quietly. "The one given to the first sons after the covenant ritual. But we didn't do anything. How did he get it?" Adaeze stood up. "We need to see Pastor Elisha again." The next morning, they returned to the church. Pastor Elisha examined the child, then nodded solemnly. "This child has been chosen for 2 things, destruction or destiny. The spirits are still trying to claim him." Adaeze hugged her baby tighter. "What can we do?" Ebuka asked. "There's something your grandfather never told anyone," Pastor Elisha said. "A second altar, a deeper one. Until that one is broken, Chiziterem's life will always be a battleground." That night, Ebuka confessed the rest. "My grandfather had a secret room behind the house in the village. No one enters it. My father once said, 'The room holds blood and fire.'" Adaeze's eyes widened. "We need to go there." "Are you sure?" Ebuka asked. "It could be dangerous. I carried this child. I suffered for him. I won't sit and watch evil steal what God gave me." So 3 days later, they traveled to the village. The moment they arrived at the compound, strange things began to happen. The dog tied near the gate barked non-stop at Chiziterem. An old woman ran out from the backyard screaming, "Take that child away from here. He carries fire." Adaeze stood her ground. "Where is the room?" Ebuka pointed to a small hut behind the compound. "There." They entered. The air inside was thick, heavy. The walls were dark with soot. Candles had melted into skulls. There was an old book on a stone table, written in a language they couldn't understand. Then the baby cried out, loud and sharp. The ground shook. Suddenly, the candle flames turned blue. A shadow rose from the center of the room. It looked like a man, but his face was twisted and his eyes burned like coal. "Why have you come?" it growled. Pastor Elisha stepped forward and began to pray. Adaeze held Chiziterem tightly. The child stared at the shadow and didn't blink. Then for the second time he spoke, but his mouth didn't move. His voice echoed from the walls. "The curse ends with me." The shadow screamed. Chains snapped from the floor. Fire burst from the baby's body and struck the shadow. It vanished into the wall with a roar. Then everything went silent. The mark on Chiziterem's back faded away. But just as they stepped out of the room, Mama Izin was standing outside. Her eyes were no longer kind. They were glowing red. "You broke the outer altar," she said slowly. "But there's one more, the altar inside me." Adaeze gasped. "You? I gave your husband that drink. I was promised honor if I delivered the child's soul, but now I must pay the price." She collapsed right there on the ground, shaking and screaming. Then she went still. They rushed her to the hospital, but she never woke up. Back in the city, things were calm again. Chiziterem smiled more, cried less. But the prophet sent a message one evening. "The child has passed the first test, but darkness always comes back, stronger." What do you think Mama Ezine was truly hiding? Why did Chiziterem speak with such power as a baby? Is this child just a baby or something greater than anyone expected? Comment below, would you go into a haunted room to save your child's destiny? Stay tuned for episode 3.